We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
In the summer of 1996, humanity was suddenly made aware that they were not alone in the universe, thanks to the arrival of a cyclopean entity near the Moon. Before anyone knew what was happening, over 30 fragments had broken off and began entering the atmosphere all over the planet. They were sheathed in huge clouds of smoke and fire which blocked all sensors from determining the nature of the objects as they decelerated towards major cities. It was there that the smoke cloud broke, revealing the true form of what was inside: vast circular ships that measured 25 kilometers in diameter. They had no apparent method of propulsion or visible means of staying aloft as they hovered in the skies, slowly rotating as they caused panic, looting and evacuations from those who found themselves in their shadow. The only element of the ship's design which broke up their relative uniformity was a large concavity near one edge, which held a huge vertical tower. This was determined to be the front of the ship, though this was a purely human designation as the vessel did not necessarily travel with the tower at the front. The underside of each ship, while flat, was not completely smooth. The surface was patterned with 8 large ovoids, radially arranged around a central indentation that covered the vessel's only weapon. At the end of a countdown that was sent to each ship around the world using humanity's own satellites, this vastly powerful device opened up like a flower filled with an eerie cyan light. 8 pointed arms then extended towards the central spire as they charged energy, culminating in a bright beam and a blast of utter devastation. Whatever was beneath the ship was destroyed in a wave of fire which expanded until reaching the edges of the ship. After the initial surprise attack, the military forces of the planet arranged a series of counterattacks. However, these were entirely rebuffed thanks to the completely impervious shielding that protected the invaders' vessels, and the launch of hundreds of previously unseen attack craft. They emerged from a large horizontal slot that ran across the front of the Saucer's tower, and had previously shot down an ill-fated communication attempt from within this launch bay. As the vast ships travelled between cities, destroying them as they went, the President of the United States, Thomas Whitmore, authorised the use of nuclear weapons to bring them down. However, even these proved ineffective against the alien shields, and the remaining military forces around the world were forced into hiding away from bases which had been wiped clean by the smaller attack craft. Each of the city destroyers was coordinated by the mothership that remained in space over the Earth, which led to their one and only weakness: an attack by a computer virus implanted within their network. This virus was delivered by Captain Stephen Hiller and David Levinson using a salvaged attack craft that had crashed near Roswell in 1947, and brought down the protective shields on every one of the giant craft. An enormous coordinated assault across the world was staged to destroy the invaders, but their ships were so immense that conventional weaponry had little effect. But the great power of the ship's weapon could be used against it by interrupting the firing sequence, causing a fatal feedback effect which gutted the entire ship. This technique was used to destroy all but one of the city destroyers, with the last being of a slightly different design. After devastating multiple cities in Central Africa, it had deployed 8 huge legs and touched down on the surface where it began drilling into the crust of the planet. It ceased this activity upon the destruction of its mothership, though before it shut down completely, it emitted a burst on an X-band frequency directed towards deep space. It also disgorged hordes of foot soldiers onto the plains of Africa, who engaged local forces in a bloody ground war that lasted for over a decade. 20 years after the invasion, humanity had largely managed to recover and rebuild, and had even begun to colonize the solar system, in part thanks to reverse-engineered alien technology. However, the one ship that had survived the war had mysteriously reactivated itself. They were coming back. You can support Spacedock by joining our Patreon, where you can get our Spacefighter design reference book. Alternatively, you can support us directly through YouTube by giving us super thanks or by becoming a channel member. Thanks to our supporters, and thank you for watching.